Ditty's here as well, looking at the papers. Guess what they're talking about? They're talking about the French presidential candidates, aren't they, Dipty?
That's right. These candidates are so diametrically opposed, Stuart, and they're both outsiders politically, so to speak. So it's obviously it continues to grip the international papers. Politico looks at the challenges that Emmanuel Macron, the centrist candidate, is facing in the runoff vote. They say things like, gaffes like a party held at a chic bistro on Sunday for his supporters, which many saw as a premature celebration. But he has vehemently defended, anyway, these kind of things, but also a lack of establishment support for Macron, like the far-left leader, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who so far has refused to endorse him. Politico says Macron's greatest challenge may come from the fragility of his campaign. One aide quoted says, "Some days you feel a lack of serious adult political strategists around him." And it's not in the bag yet for Macron. He may be a favorite for the runoff, but it's still not in the bag. Chapat, the cartoonist, reminds us of this, where you see in this cartoon Macron being elevated, almost godlike, while you have Marine Le Pen with her hands crossed there saying, well, do you mind waiting for the runoff before you celebrate? Now, the Wall Street Journal says that her best bet of winning is if people don't turn up to the polling stations. And this is what she's banking on. I quote the Journal, which says she's succeeding in weakening the, quote, political bulwark. And of course, the battle for the Elysee has drawn a lot of interest in the Arab world as well, Stuart. The London-based Al Arab newspaper predicts that while Macron will win, he'll win by a much narrow margin over his rival, unlike in 2002, the last time when the far right made it to the second round. And they say France is not yet ready to accept Le Pen's ideas. And for the moment, the far right party has nothing to offer electors but slogans that demonize Islam.
Okay, 1.5 weeks to go, of course. Now let's move to other news. Going to go to the US, talk about Donald Trump once again. His standoff with Congress over the payment of his war with Mexico has hit rather a snag, hasn't it?
Well, that's right. He was sort of holding Congress hostage and really the government's budget, insisting that they make room for the first installment of funding his border wall with Mexico. But the Washington Post says it appears, at least, that he's backing down. Trump has agreed to delay the first payment of the wall until the next fiscal year. For this Washington Post writer, though, although Trump likes to think of himself as a deal maker in chief, he's more like the back down president, just days short of his 100 days in office. He's desperate to show that he's made significant gains on his electoral promises. Instead, he's being schooled on the limitations of his power, and America is learning, I quote, that the best things happen when the back-down president retreats.
Yeah, not such a good day for Ivanka Trump either. She made her first appearance, didn't she, as a kind of representative of the US government. Didn't quite go how she wanted it to, though, did it?
Not at all. She was actually in Berlin to attend a women's summit accompanied by IMF chief Christine Lagarde and Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor. Politico reports that the first daughter was grilled about her father's attitudes towards women, and she responded by calling him a, quote, tremendous champion of supporting families and enabling them to thrive. Now, these comments drew boos, gasps, and guffaws from the crowd as the Independent reports on its front page. The Guardian also was posted this picture on its front page. The German press, though, are a little kinder. Frankfurter Allgemeine calls her the brave daughter, saying that for unfathomable reasons, this woman is the hope bearer of a, quote, temperate America, despite having very little on her CV that indicates she's qualified to do so. And the tabloid Bild paints a really adoring picture of Ivanka Trump, saying she carried her own suitcase and she's more than daddy's darling. She's wise, charming, and worldly, I'm quoting there. More importantly, they say Angela Merkel needs her because she's kind of the more palatable Trump, and Angela Merkel needs her to get to Donald Trump, the president.
Good to see another side of it for once, isn't it? Now, finally, one of the French luxury fashion houses has released a $2,000 bag. Launched it last week, didn't they? But it resembles one that we might be a little bit more familiar with here.
That's right. For us mere mortals, maybe, Stuart. There are the two bags. The one on the left is a beautiful boat-shaped bright blue leather tote bag from Balenciaga which is a French luxury fashion house. But it has a striking resemblance to the 99-cent plastic bag on the right of the screen there that you can find at Ikea. Anyway, news outlets picked up on this last week, and Ikea sort of been capitalizing on its newfound, on these flattering comparisons, really. The Swedish furniture giant released a cheeky guide helping us distinguish between the two bags, what they call the original version, the 99-cent one. They say, look out for things like rustling sounds, a multifunctionality like carrying hockey gear, bricks, and water. And of course, it's pretty cool price tag, 99 cents. That means you could probably fit, give or take, about 2,000 Ikea bags into the Balenciaga one.
I was going to say, I bet you can fit a lot more in the other one. We've got a couple of those in our flat. It's full of the kids' old teddy bears. So there you go.
They're very useful, those plastic bags.
Very, very useful. They are indeed. All right, thanks a lot, Dipti and Stephen on France 24.